Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Dakshinamurti Swarupaya Shri Dayananda Rupaya Paramagurave Paramatmane. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This morning, I made it very clear that in total ignorance, there is experience of bliss, and which is subject to change, which will not be permanent. Whereas in total knowledge, there is happiness which doesn't come and go, which is permanent, which is there as the very nature of the self, the reality. In half ignorance, in half knowledge, there is error in perception of the self is possible. Thereby, superimposition of limitations of non-self upon the self is possible. Thereby, naturally, there are wrong notions about the self, and which give rise to the common human fundamental problem of self, of the sense of inadequacy, sense of smallness, sense of insecurity centered on I, which gives rise to the common human fundamental, the desire in terms of the desire to live long happily, which is a natural emotional urge, and because of which any desire is possible, and which results in action, and how action produces result, and exhausts the result, again the life continues. And this being born again and again and again, going through these pairs of opposites, pain and pleasure, success, failure, loss and gain, etc. Again falling, again leaving this physical body. This is this beginningless, endless cycle of many births and deaths, fraught with this experience of pairs of opposites, limitations, is called life of transmigration, samsara. And which can be resolved in the wake of the knowledge of the truth. That's why when this half knowledge becomes total knowledge, in total knowledge there is happiness, means there is freedom. The freedom from this bondage, which I'll explain again later on. I said there's total ignorance on the part of animals. And what distinguishes a human being from animals is this half knowledge. Therefore, being endowed with half knowledge, you are a human being. In total knowledge, a human being can see himself or herself being non-separate from God, the Lord, the whole. In total knowledge, there is the Lord, you are Bhagavan. In half knowledge, you are a human being. In total ignorance, an animal. This lesson will continue later on, if time permits, because we're a new lesson now, because there are new people. I will continue with the old lesson. I thought let us begin this session with the mantra chanting. I'll talk to you about meditation definitely. And definitely, I can tell you, the real inspiration for clearer understanding, I would not say going deeper, for clearer understanding. If I say going deeper means who is going where, how, the question will come. I understand what you mean. What we need is the clarity, doubt-free, clear understanding. We need ascertained clear vision. So there is some understanding, and that some understanding has to enhance. What you actually want is much clearer understanding. There's some understanding. What you want is actually much clearer understanding. What you mean by saying clear understanding is, I can say, going in deeper. And inspiration for becoming clearer and clearer is possible only when you listen. So systematically, regularly listen to the teaching. Systematic will teaching, repeated listening, repeatedly, systematically listening to the teaching will definitely contribute for enhancement of your clarity. As the clarity enhances, you will discover more joy. The more joy you discover, as clarity enhances, that enhancement of clarity itself will be an inspiration for you to have much, again, better enhancement. You become clearer in listening, and that will be an inspiration for you to listen more. You listen, again clarity enhances, that will be inspiration for you to listen more. Inspiration for enhancement of clarity, you will discover as the clarity enhances when you listen more and more. Then you cannot stop listening. It will come. And there will be a point. People may ask, when should I stop listening then? You will not even ask. When the clarity may become 100% clear, you don't need, there will be a time you don't need to listen, you'll stop listening. Why stop listening? You'll start living the vision. You stop listening and you will start living in the vision. Until the vision dawns, you will be listening. When the vision is clear, then you will be living the vision. And again, there's a big mistake, big confusion all over. People think vision of the reality, knowledge of the reality means it is not one particular event, one fine day, one fine time. Suddenly some flash comes, something happens. People think it is experience. It is not experience. It's a wrong understanding. If you think it is experience, and I'm sorry, it is not experience. Because any experience is subject to time. There's no such a thing called a permanent experience. If something has to be permanently there, it cannot have beginning, isn't it? Experience has a beginning. Please tell me. Experience has a beginning. Any experience you have, it has a beginning. And therefore it has an end also. Anything which has a beginning, it will have an end also. So experience is a state of mind which has a beginning, which comes, therefore which has an end, which will go. And self-knowledge here, self-knowledge is not experience. Okay? It's not experience. And people think by practicing meditation, some experience I'll have. If you're working for experience, you can have experience. But that is not a solution for our problem. Any experience will come and go. So we are not interested in any special experience, like an event. It suddenly one fine day, under one tree, or somewhere in some place, in an auspicious day, an auspicious time, some place, an holy place, some flash comes. No. It is not an experience. It is not an event taking place at a given time. It is an understanding. The more you listen, subtler your mind becomes. The more you listen, much sharper you become. You listen, and the clarity enhances. And the doubts resolve in due course of time. Again, clarity enhances. There's a gradual enhancement of clarity. And a time comes, you will see it becomes very clear understanding. And you will be living the vision. You will be living the vision. Therefore, and you can see how listening systematically, regularly helps you enhance your clarity. You'll find it. Have I answered your question? Yes. And again, meditation also, we'll talk about it after the class, okay? Now, because I promised I'll teach some mantras also here. So now, in the beginning of the session, we will do this mantra. We'll chant the mantra. I'll teach you all how to chant. Then also explain the meaning. This particular mantra is from Vedam. It's also a Vedic chant. As I said, Any mantra is meant for japa. Sometimes mantras are meant for performance or rituals also. And this mantra is meant for japa and also for worship in the form of performance of ritual. So japaha means repeated utterance is called japaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So repeated utterance is called japaha. And it can be uttered, one can repeat the mantra mentally, one can repeat it orally also. One needs some sort of practice to repeat mentally without moving the tongue inside. You can do the mentally, you can repeat, or orally, softly you can repeat also. Instead of screaming, softly you can repeat Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Orally, softly you can repeat, or mentally, without even moving your tongue inside, you can repeat mentally also. When you repeat it mentally, it is called Manasa Japaha. When you repeat orally, it's a Vachika Japaha. Any japa is good, it is a pre-preparatory discipline. Japaha is a pre-preparatory discipline. It can serve, when you do mentally, the japa itself can serve as a meditation. And here, this particular mantra, I also explain the meaning of the word mantra also. Mantraha means, mananam means repeatedly thinking is called mananam. Trayate means protects. Mananat trayate iti mantraha. When you repeatedly utter a mantra mentally or orally, focusing your attention on the mantra. That is more important. Mananat. Repeatedly placing the attention of your mind in the sound you are uttering. When you repeatedly is uttered, it has the amazing capacity to protect the one who recites. Okay? The protector of the reciter. It protects the one who recites it. But how should it be recited? That is important. When does it protect you? When does a mantra protect? A mantra can be called a mantra because it has the capacity to protect the one who recites it. But how does it protect? Mananat trayate. Mananam means repeatedly placing the attention of the mind in the sound that you are pronouncing, uttering. Attention of the mind is not placed anywhere else. Your attention can be distracted, attention can be, sometimes people can see, a lot of people chant, a lot of mantras, mechanically they chant. Because they've been chanting, they used to chant the mantras. They would have memorized the mantras also. So they can chant orally, mechanically, mind can wander anywhere else. Then you cannot call it a mantra. Even if you chant Om Namah Shivaya, it's highly meaningful sentence, pregnant with the high meaning. It has some result. It won't go waste. No effort will ever go waste. It has some phalam. But if you want it to be highly, totally effective, then as the word mantra means, that which protects the one who recites, the one who places his attention in that very sound. Which means without any distraction, bring the attention to the sound and you are there, the sound is there. Nothing else exists for you. The attention is only in the mantra. Then it's a mantra. It has the capacity to protect. That's why it's called mantra. Itself means protector of the reciter, whose attention is in that. So mantra japaha means repeated utterance of a something which protects the one who recites it. So it can be a single name of the Lord, meaningful name. And it can be a small sentence. It can have 2 sentences like this also, where there is a prayer. Sometimes you can repeat the prayer also. In prayer, you pray for something. And what will you pray for? You will not pray for something which you can easily get. Always you pray for something what you cannot get by any of your efforts. Which means your prayer itself is spontaneous expression of the one who recognizes his utter helplessness. When you recognize your utter helplessness, then that utter helplessness is expressed in the form of a prayer. When do you seek help? When you feel helpless, you seek help. Isn't it? And here again, when you pray in any Veda mantra, when you chant and if there's a prayer, here you can wholeheartedly you can pray, because when you say we pray to the Lord means the Lord for us is not any given form, not any one given thing. Even though we worship many forms, we worship everything in the creation. Worship trees, we worship animals, we worship plants, we worship rivers, we worship mountains. There's nothing which is not worshipped there. Why? Because in the Vedic vision, the Lord is the whole. When I say Lord is the whole, all that is here is the Lord. There's nothing which is not the Lord here. What is, that's why there's an expression, we don't even say God is one. We don't even say gods are many. So it's neither monotheism nor it's a polytheism. No pantheism. It is what is only the Lord. Big difference in saying Lord is one, what is only the Lord. Isn't it? What is only the Lord? All that is there is only the Lord. Which means this Lord is a God, a Lord is a fact to be understood. You can ask, how do you say this is a fact to be understood? If you say worship this one given form, it's a confusion. Oh my God, I've been worshipping all these things. I was born in this tradition. I was born in this culture. How can it confuse you? Isn't it? This is a fact to be understood. So God is a fact. Lord is a fact, a concept to be understood. Like what? I can give you the example. If I tell you this, I'll take you to the seashore. And there are so many noisy, roaring waves. You're excited seeing these many waves coming and going and making noise, one small, one big, one wave is quiet. You see so many. And even some children come who even they start counting the waves. There's so many waves. Innumerable waves. Countless waves. But which wave is outside of the ocean? Tell me. Is there any one wave quarrels with the other wave? I won't be here. Let me go out and play away from you. Is there any one wave which leaves the ocean, goes away and plays hangs around all by itself? Is it possible? No. There cannot be something called a wave which can exist independently by itself as a wave without being part of the whole called ocean. If the wave has to be there, wave has to exist, the wave has to enjoy existence, it has to be there. Only the happy wave or unhappy wave or the quarreling wave or whatever the wave is, the wave has to survive as a wave. It has to be there amidst other waves, the middle of other waves, as the part and parcel of the ocean, the whole. The wave can survive, the wave has to survive, the wave can exist only as part of the whole. Isn't it true? True or not? Similarly, every being here, whether it's a living creature or a non-living thing, mobile being or immobile being, a human being, an animal or a plant, whatever it is, no being here can exist independently by itself, outside of the universe. So, if any living being or a non-living thing, a human being, man or woman, whoever it is, we all have to exist amidst other beings, along with other beings, within the realm of the whole, as part of the whole. Isn't it true? That's how we can live. And here, so standing on the seashore, I can tell you one thing. See, what is here is all the waves, the entire ocean is nothing but what is only water. I can say that or not? You can see the ocean, you can see the waves, you can see the difference, you're experiencing the differences, you're experiencing the divisions, you're experiencing the smallness and bigness and the happiness and unhappy waves. You can see everything. How many other waves you're seeing, however big the ocean you're seeing, I can just say one thing. What is here is only the water. Can I say that or not? I can say. When I say, I mean, what do I mean? There may be waveforms, there are waveforms, there is an ocean form, but all these forms, the huge form called ocean, the tiny little forms called waves, all these forms, they're all only forms. If I ask you the question, what is a wave? Wave is a word. What is an ocean? Ocean is a word, a term. What does the word wave indicate? What does it refer to? What does the word ocean indicate, refer to? If I ask, you will say the word wave indicates, refers to a small form. The word ocean refers to a huge, big form. Two different words indicating, referring to two different forms. Isn't it true? But I tell you, we are experiencing these two different forms. We are perceiving the two different forms. So we cannot say there's no wave at all. There's no ocean at all. We cannot say. Why? We are experiencing the wave forms. We are experiencing the ocean form. We are perceiving them. We are seeing them. So we cannot deny our perception. We cannot deny our experience. We do experience. We do see the wave ocean difference. We do see the small form called wave, many small forms called waves, one huge form called ocean, and all these small forms called waves are within the realm of the huge form called ocean. And each and every wave forms part of the whole ocean. But still, without denying our perception, without denying our experience, still we can see there is one substance called water. If I remove, imagine, intellectually imagine, you remove all the water from there. Remove all the water from there. Once you remove the water from there, after removing the water, you have drained, okay? All the water is removed. Imagine. Will there be meaning for the words wave and ocean? Why? The word wave is meaningful only if there is a form wave. The form wave, the wave forms will collapse, disappear. The form ocean also will disappear. Therefore, the forms disappear, words become meaningless. Words also will drop because words cannot stand. They don't have corresponding. There's a substance called wave or ocean. Is it clear now? Therefore, wave and ocean are only non-substantial forms. But what is that one thing which has substantiality? The water. Water is the substance which can be without being the wave or ocean. The water is not dependent on the form ocean or the wave, the form wave, for its existence to be water. Isn't it? Water is not dependent on the form wave or the form ocean for its existence. Whereas the form ocean and the wave, the form wave are dependent on the water for its existence. So which is independent, which is dependent? With reference to ocean, water, with reference to ocean, water is not dependent on the form wave and the form ocean. Water has independent existence. Whereas the form ocean and the form wave are dependent on the water for their existence. So existence of water is the existence of ocean, existence of waves. Isn't it? Therefore, we can say with the form, the dependent wave form, dependent ocean form is as though real. Water is absolutely real. With reference to ocean, water is real. Wave form and ocean form are as though real. Is it clear now? Real and as though real. What is real? Water is real. Why? Water is not dependent on the wave form, on the ocean form. But what is as though real? The forms are as though real. Why? They do not have independent existence. There's no substance called wave, there's no substance called ocean. Minus water, what is a substance of the substantive wave? Nothing. Is it clear? Therefore, we say, I can simply say, the entire ocean, the form, and the wave full of waves, nothing but water. Water is not the ocean, not the waves, but all the waves are water. The entire ocean is water. What is only the water in the form of waves and ocean. What is only the water in the form of waves and ocean. Is it clear now? Similarly, here we can say the whole cosmos here. We can say elements, space, we can say into time. What is the time factor? Time. We talk about the time factor. Where is time? Time, space, air, fire, water, earth, plants, non-living, living beings, immobile beings, all the plants, vegetation, mobile beings, living beings, mobile and immobile, human beings, all the actions, the results of actions, and the laws which determine the results of actions, and the human experiences of paths of opposites, pain, pleasure, loss, gain, etc. All our experiences, non-living things, this huge, vast universe of innumerable, countless forms, names, and functions, the whole universe, how clear you are when I explain to you, when I tell you, when you see the ocean, you can say, in spite of perceiving the wave-ocean difference, wave-wave difference, in spite of experiencing the ocean and the waves, you can just say what is only the water. Can you say? The same way, Upanishad, when you study the Veda Shastram, Vedanta Shastram, you have the clear vision from the standpoint of which you can say what is only the reality. Just as there's reality with reference to ocean in the form of water, similarly there is reality with reference to the entire cosmos. But there are only just waves and ocean, wave form and ocean form. Very simple example is very simple. But here, the elements and the elementals and mobile beings, immobile beings, non-living things, and all our experiences, subtle and gross and invisible and visible, perceptible, imperceptible, known, unknown, all this is the whole universe. We can say the whole universe is nothing but appearance of only one truth, one reality. Where I can simply say the whole cosmos is that one truth only. Just as what is, there is nothing but water. When you say with reference to ocean, here you can say what is nothing but the reality. There's only one reality. What is only the reality. We don't say one reality. What is only the reality. With reference to ocean, is a second thing other than the water? No. With reference to ocean and wave, is a second thing other than the water? No. There is no second other than the water. Because wave is a form, ocean is a form, resolvable in the water. What is only the water? There is no second thing other than the water. You can't even say, why can't I say water and the ocean are there? Why can't I say that? No, you can't say that. You can say water and the ocean are there. If ocean can exist independently without the water, then you can say water and the ocean are there. Ocean, the form ocean, is not countable as a parallel reality. If ocean can exist independently when the water is not there, then you can count the ocean as a second reality. Isn't it? Therefore, ocean will not be there. So, ocean does not have independent existence outside of the water without the water. Therefore, the form ocean or the forms waves are non-countable. Therefore, you have to say, what is the only secondless reality, water. With reference to ocean, you have to say, what is there is only the secondless reality, water. Similarly, with reference to the whole cosmos of innumerable countless beings, what is only the secondless reality. So with reference to ocean, we can say the only reality is water. With reference to this entire cosmos, the only secondless reality is X. Mathematics, we say, we put X. We do not know what that reality is. X. We have to arrive at that X. Is it clear? And in Shastram, the terms are used. The reality is implied by the terms Atma and Brahma, etc. And because without that reality, the universe cannot exist at all. Just as without the water, ocean cannot exist at all. Without this reality implied by the term Brahma, this universe cannot exist at all. Therefore, from the standpoint of the form and name universe, we can say what? There is no Lord other than the reality. The Lord of the entire universe is the reality. Is it clear now? Now the entire universe is nothing but the reality. Therefore we can say what? What is only the Lord. Is it clear now? If we look at the reality as the Lord, and what is only the reality, you can say what is only the Lord. Is it clear? There is no second thing other than the Lord. Why? There is no Lord other than the reality. Therefore, all that is there is the Lord. Like every wave is water, every small thing here is the Lord. Every small thing here is essentially the truth, the reality. And for us to appreciate this fact that all that is there is only the Lord, everything is the Lord, we need to discover what that reality is. What is that reality which alone is shining in the form of the whole universe? And discovering that reality is the ultimate aim and purpose of studying the Vedanta. Nothing is created here. Nothing is experienced suddenly. It's just discovering what is. Discovering what is the purpose of studying the Vedanta. Is it clear now? For what is the Lord? If you ask, what is not the Lord here? All that is there is only the Lord. And where are you? You are part of the Lord, the whole. Is it clear now? The whole is the Lord. What is only the Lord. and yourself being part of the whole, the Lord. When you pray to the Lord, who are you praying to? When you are part of the Lord means what? Yes. That's why prayer is a will-involved auto-suggestion. So you need to understand how all that is there is only the Lord. Then I am not outside of the Lord. As the individual being, the one who is praying to the Lord, you have to see that prayer is an auto-suggestion, will-involved auto-suggestion. And prayer is expression of your recognition of utter helplessness. Is it clear? And therefore, prayer as an action is 100% effective. Prayer never fails. Why? No action fails. How do you say? That's law of action. But when does the result come? That it may come immediately, it may happen later on, it may not happen to your expectation, but result is definite. If sometimes people the result doesn't come immediately, then they lose faith. That is our problem, okay? But one thing understand, no action ever goes without producing a result. Prayer as an action is also never goes waste. Understand? And how long should I be praying to the Lord? How long should I be praying for? Until you discover this fact that all that is there is only the Lord. I am non-separate from that Lord. I am also the Lord. Every wave can say what? I the wave am the water, therefore I am the whole. Until you discover this fact clearly, if you are able to see this fact, how I am non-separate from the Lord, the whole. Until you see this fact becomes very clear, we can pray and we can worship. The prayer and worship will culminate in the vision of yourself being non-separate from the whole, the Lord. Okay. Otherwise, how long will you be praying all the time, seeking, praying? You are the one who is asking, Lord is the one who is giving. Isn't it? How long should we be praying? Prayer should culminate. Worship should culminate in the vision of the fact the one who is praying to is non-separate from the Lord, the whole, the one who is prayed to. Is it clear? Therefore, now you have some understanding of mantra, japa, the prayer, the God, everything. With this much understanding, now we will start the mantra. Now why I tell you all these things? I want you to be focused in the mantra. Some Swamini has come from India, from London, and she is teaching something. So Eva and France have invited us. We're just sitting here. I know this mantra is useful, effective, some Sanskritam, we don't even understand. What's the purpose of chanting? I just come here for some experience. I'm as good as you, okay? So don't expect any experience here. If I can make you feel some experience, get your experience, I'll be the most useless teacher here. I don't want to have the papam of saying something wrong, which is against the Shastra. People come and tell me, we went there, we were sitting in front of that person, we had this experience, suddenly we felt that, we felt here, that experience, so silence, mind became so calm. It's all mental projections. Some people go to some Swami, they come back and tell me, I was sitting in front of Swami, I was so silent. My mind became so calm and quiet. It's all your own projection. When you go and sit, your mind becomes quiet. Maybe not because of that person's. It's all how you think. It's all your own mind, okay? And that changes. And that is stay forever? No. It's all our own imaginations and projections. So here, no experience here. We have to just know the value of what you are doing, be very practical. You have to know the importance and the value of what you are doing. So I made very clear what we are going to chant is a highly meaningful, very good mantra. And there is a prayer in the mantra. I'm going to tell you the meaning also. And you will know why we pray for such a meaning. What we are praying for also. You will know the value of what we are praying for in that mantra also. Okay? Now, so always every mantra class needs a lot of preparation. Sometimes a repetition comes. Certain things I had to repeat, but still. Every teaching needs some preparation, isn't it? I had to talk to somebody. Make a lot of things clear. Is it clear now, what I've said? Okay. So now we are invoking the grace of the Lord. We are going to pray in this mantra. And we have to know, now you know very well what prayer is, a will-involved auto-suggestion. And we are praying to the Lord whom we are part of. And it should culminate in the vision of discovering the fact that I am non-separate from the Lord. Therefore, you know how efficacious prayer is. Therefore, now we can focus. When you know the value of what you are doing, you'll be very focused. If you know the benefit of what you are doing, what you are going to gain by doing something, you will do it with Shraddha. If you do not know what you are going to gain out of it, then you won't be interested. Isn't it? When you go to work in the morning, you know very well. You go. Why? You go, you spend 8 hours, 7 hours there in your office, you know that is your income. Money comes definitely. You know the value of what, isn't it? Therefore you're focused. If you know the benefit of what you're going to gain by doing this, you will be focused. You will be interested. When you do something not knowing what you're doing, why you're doing, what is going to benefit out of it, then you will not be interested. You'll be simply sitting here for time, passing your time. But I don't want you to waste your time. Okay? I want all of you to benefit. That's why I want to give this introduction. Okay. Now, this is a mantra. This is called Mrityunjaya Mantraha. Say, Mrityunjaya Mantraha. Mrityunjaya Mantraha. Here, so in this mantra, we invoke the Lord as the Mrityunjayaha. We can invoke the Lord as anything, isn't it? The one who removes the obstacles. We can invoke the Lord as the one who removes the fear. We can invoke the Lord as the one who bestows wealth. We can invoke the Lord as the one who removes something. We can invoke the Lord as anything. So here, in this mantra, we invoke the Lord as Mrityunjayaha. Therefore, this mantra in which Lord is invoked as the Mrityunjayaha, this mantra itself is called Mrityunjaya Mantraha. Now, what does the word Mrityunjayaha mean? Mrityuhu means time factor. Time. The time factor is always looked upon as the Lord of Death. Understand now? You know why Lord of Death? Time is looked upon as Lord of Death. Because death happens in time. In fact, time can be looked upon as Lord of Birth also. You know why? Birth also happens in time. Death also happens in time. Every change happens in time. Everything happens in time. Everything happens in time. There's nothing which happens outside of time. But we are not scared of anything which happens in time. Birth happens in time. Are we scared? Somebody calls and tells you, my niece has delivered a boy baby or a girl baby. Hello, congratulations. We all say, my uncle passed away. Don't we say that? So when somebody calls and tells you of the birth, you all say, you're all happy. They're also happy. Death happens means who is saying happily? Even the old man who was ailing, suffering, struggling, he passed away, still the pain. Isn't it? Because death, birth, everything happens in time only, but anything else which happens in time doesn't cause any fear in us. But the death which happens in time, death means everybody's scared. Isn't it? There's nobody who is not scared of death. There's nobody who is not afraid of death. People can come and tell me, Swamiji, I am not afraid of death, I'm ready. Ready? Okay. Come on, suppose suddenly death comes. Come on, I'm ready. Come, I'll take you. No, please go, not today. I tell you, our Shastram has beautifully found the human mind. There's no human mind which is free from fear of death. Death is one incident, one thing which happens in time which causes fear. Many other things can cause fear, but death is the most frightening thing which happens in time. That is why, because the death happens in time, the time in which the death happens, now the time factor is looked upon as the Lord of death. Is it clear now? Therefore, time factor is looked upon as the Lord of death. The time factor personified in Puranas is Lord Yama. He comes on a buffalo. Personification. That is legend, Puranas. Okay. Now, Mrityuhu means death. Jayaha means victory. Jayaha means it's a noun. Victory. When you put together Mrityum Jayaha, okay, we mean not the time, we don't mean the time factor, we don't mean the victory, we mean the Lord. The Lord who is victorious over death is called Mrityunjayaha. The winner of death. The one who is victorious over death. Mrityuhu means time factor, the Lord of death. And Jayaha means victory. Together, Mrityunjayaha means the Lord who is victorious over death. When I say the Lord is victorious over death means what? Lord is free from death. Lord is free from death means Lord is not subject to death. Lord is not subject to death means Lord is none other than the reality which is of the nature of limitlessness. When I say Lord is none other than the reality which is free from limitations, means which is of the nature of timelessness. Who is the Lord for us? Lord is the reality which is of the nature of timelessness. The timeless reality is the Lord who is looked upon as the one who is victorious over death, who is not subject to death, who is not bound by time. Reality is free from time limitation. Reality is of the nature of timelessness. For us, Lord is none other than reality. For Lord is timelessness. Lord is free from time. Lord is not subject to time, not bound by time. Is it clear now? So therefore here, the Lord is invoked as the one who is victorious over death, one who is not bound by time, one who is not subject to death, one who is free from death. Okay? Lord is immortal reality. Lord is immortal reality. And when you want immortality, when you want to be free from time limitation, you want to free yourself from the death, you invoke the grace of that Lord for you to become free from death. Is it clear now? Suppose, imagine you are swimming. Okay, other person is inside in the water. Other person is drowning. Okay, he is drowning. And you also, suppose you are standing on the seashore. The other person who is drowning, how can he give hand to other person who is another person who is drowning? The person who is on the seashore can give hand to the one who is drowning. Isn't it? One who is drowning cannot be helped by another person who is drowning. The person who is sinking in the water has to be helped by the one who is standing on the shore. Isn't it? Similarly, the people who are afraid of death, who want to free themselves from the fear of death, have to seek the help of the Lord who is free from death. Understand? Therefore, in this mantra, we invoke the Lord as the one who is of the nature of timelessness, who is free from time limitation. Therefore, one who is victorious over death. There is nothing which is not bound by time in this world. Everything is subject to time. Therefore, everything is bound by time. The only one thing which is not bound by time. Only one thing which is free from time, which is the time of the time. Understand? Time brings an end to everything here. But one thing which brings an end to the very time itself. That is timeless reality. And there is no Lord other than the timeless reality for us. Is it clear? Okay. Mrityunjaya mantraha. Say. There are two sentences. The first sentence is a sentence of worship. Second sentence is a sentence of prayer. In a sentence of worship, there are three names of the Lord which are glorifications of the Lord, which tell you about the nature of the God, how God is, how the Lord is. Okay? Om. 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 Triambakam yajamahe. Triambakam yajamahe. Triambakam yajamahe. Triambakam yajamahe. Triambakam yajamahe. Sugandhim. 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 Pushtivardhanam. 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 Om. Triambakam yajamahe. त्र्यंबकं यजामहे त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं 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 त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् 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 वर्धनं वर्धनं पुष्टिवर्धनं पुष्टिवर्धनम् ॐ त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव 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 बन्धनान् 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 उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् धनान् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर् मृत्योर् बन्धनान् मृत्योर् बन्धनान् मृत्योर् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर् रुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर् बन्धनान् मृत्योर् मृत्योर् बन्धनान् मृत्योर् मृत्योर् बन्धनान् मृत्योर् मृत्योर् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर् रुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर् मुक्षीय 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 mamritaat, 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 urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat, urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor varukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat, urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat, rukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat, urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat, urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti Shanti. Om Triambakai Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat. Om Triambakai Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat. Okay. You can practice afterwards. You can get some. You can practice again. Okay. So here in the first line, if you Triambakam is the word. When we chant, we say Triambakai because of some nasalization of the anuswara, because the ya follows. Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. There are 4 words in the first sentence. The first sentence gets completed with the yajamahe. You look for it there, the pushtivardhanam. With the pushtivardhanam, sentence is over. Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. 4 words. The yajamahe is the verb. Yajamahe. Say no? Yajamahe. Yajamahe is a present tense verb. First person plural present tense verb. Yajamahe means worship. When I say first person verb, we worship. Okay? We worship. Yajamahe means we worship. The we is not mentioned there, it's implied. Okay? We worship. And next question comes. We worship whom? Whom do we worship? We worship the Lord. Who is the Lord? We worship the Lord, the whole, in the form of the universal, natural, moral law and order. Worship the Lord in the form of the universal, Lord, the whole, the universal, natural, moral law and order. This word, the Lord, is a fact to be understood, isn't it? Now we understand. Yajamahe, we worship the Lord. And which sort of Lord do we worship? We need some description of the Lord. Which sort of Lord do we worship? The 3 words. Trembakam Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. See, all the three words are an objective case. You have to make it a nominative first. First name of the Lord. Trembakaha. Say. When you say we worship, the verb happens to be there, transitive verb. The word also is an object, isn't it? But now we understand the name. Three names of the Lord. Trembakaha, Sugandhihi, Pushtivardhanaha. Three names of the Lord. Trembakaha, Sugandhihi, Pushtivardhanaha. And make all the words object. Trembakaha, Trembakam. Sugandhihi, Sugandhim. Pushtivardhanaha, Pushtivardhanam. Now, Yajamahe is a verb. So, we worship the Lord. Trembakaha, Sugandhihi, Pushtivardhanaha. Only Lord, but three different names of the only Lord. And each name gives you the nature of the Lord, how the Lord is. First is, we worship the Lord who is Trembakaha. Trembakaha. Triy. Three consonants come together. Triya. Triy. Then A. Triya. Trembakaha. See, Ambakam means I. Ambakam means I. Three is like English, three. What's in German for three? Try. So, three means try. Now, Trini Ambakani Yasya. Saha Trembakaha. Try Ambaka. The one who is endowed with three eyes. So we worship the Lord who is endowed with three eyes, who has three eyes, three-eyed. Now the doubt comes, my God, Swamiji, just now you said Lord is the whole, all that is, there's only the Lord. Now what does it mean by saying Lord has three eyes? If I say imagine three eyes, oh my God, how ugly it will look. Or how frightening it will be. Don't be scared. So three eyes means, see, the all that is, there is only the Lord. Okay, the three sources of light. Sun, moon and fire. Sun, moon and fire are the three main sources of light. Aren't they? Okay. Imagine the whole cosmos is the Lord, and the three sources of light are like the three eyes of the Lord, the whole. Is it clear now? So therefore, we worship the Lord who is in the form of the whole, who is endowed with the three sources of light, sun, moon and fire as the three eyes. Is it clear now? This is the meaning of the word Trembakaha. So we worship the Lord, the whole. Whole means what? Which includes me, isn't it? We worship the Lord, the whole, who includes the worshipper also, inclusive of all the worshippers, including me. Thereby, who is endowed with three sources of light, sun, moon and fire, like the three eyes. Is it clear? The one meaning. Another meaning is, see, past, present and future. What is past? Some time. Present is a time. Three, isn't it? Three periods of time. Past, present and future are three periods of time. Now I told you already, Lord is the reality which is free from time. Isn't it? Everything is in time. But time of the time is what? The reality. Lord is free from time. So past time is also in the Lord. Present time also is in Lord. The future is also in Lord. Therefore, there is no time which is outside of the Lord. Therefore, Lord is another than the truth which is free from time and which is in the form of past, present and future. And Lord is the one who is aware of the past, present and future. The knower of time. The knower of time, because time is object of knowledge, isn't it? Time is object of knowledge or not? Tell me. Time is known or not? Time is known. Time is known. Time is object of knowledge, isn't it? Time is object of knowledge. Therefore, time being an object of knowledge, time does not have existence outside of the knower. And the only knower of everything is the Lord, therefore knower of past, present and future. Trembakaha means the only knower of 3 periods of time. The only knower of everything, being the only knower of 3 periods of time, past, present and future, is called Trembakaha. 2 meanings. Knower of 3 periods of time. Is it clear? Please remember all these facts. Time is an object of knowledge, and no object of knowledge is outside of the knower. And the only knower of everything is the truth, the Lord. Therefore, the only knower of past, present and future is the Lord. The Lord, the knower of past, present and future, the 3 periods of time, is looked upon as the three-eyed. Okay? The seer of the past, seer of the present, seer of the future. Means knower of the past, knower of the present, knower of the future, there's no other knower other than the Lord. Therefore, the only Lord, the knower of all 3 periods of time, is said to be Trembakaha, which means Sanskritam we say Trikalagyaha. Trembakaha is equal to Trikalagyaha. The knower of 3 periods of time is looked upon as the one who is endowed with the 3 eyes. 2 meanings for the word Trembakaha. Is it clear now? So we worship the Lord, the whole, who is in the form of the whole, being endowed with the 3 sources of light, sun, moon and fire, as 3 eyes. We worship the Lord, the knower of 3 periods of time, as the 3-eyed one. Okay. Trembakam, Trembakam, Yajamahe. Now next word. Sugandhihi. Say now. No. Gandha means smell, fragrance. It's called Gandha. Any smell is called Gandha. No, Sugandha. Sugandha means sweet fragrance. Sugandha, sweet fragrance. Pleasant fragrance. Pleasing fragrance is Sugandha. Suppose imagine there's a nice fragrance is there in the other room. And we all wonder, very nice fragrance, isn't it? What a nice fragrance. We're all sitting here. We don't see the fragrance through eyes. But oh, what a sweet fragrance. We all feel, but now, immediately the fragrance comes here. Look at this. Fragrance is somewhere there. The fragrance from there, the air brings the fragrance here. Okay? The fragrance which comes in the air through our nose. enters into our minds. Isn't it? And then all our attention from the class goes to the fragrance. The fragrance has the capacity to enter into your mind through the nose, and it can grab your attention from wherever you are to itself. Isn't it? The fragrance has the capacity to grab your attention towards itself. It will come into your nose through this power of smelling. It will enter into your mind. It will grab your attention towards itself. Isn't it? And I am talking here, you won't be listening. And you all will tell, Swamiji, some nice smell comes. I said, please come to my class now. Don't think of the smell. I had to bring your attention back. Isn't it? You don't go anywhere. You're sitting here only. But your attention is grabbed away from the class to the fragrance. The fragrance has that capacity. Isn't it true? Yes. Therefore, we say Gandha means sweet fragrance. Now, Bhagavan's name is Sugandhi. Sugandhi means what? The one who has sweet fragrance is called Sugandhi, which means fragrant. Fragrant, isn't it? The one who is of sweet fragrance. The fragrant is what? The Lord is fragrant. What does it mean? That Lord uses a nice import scent or what? Perfume. Lord also uses perfume. He is fragrant. No. So Sugandhi means Lord's, what is that one thing which attracts all the minds towards itself? You know that? There's one thing which is wanted, which is desperately searched, which is wanted, sought after by all the minds of all the people of all times, of all places, of all cultures. What is that one thing? People who lived before, who live now, who's going to be living in future. One thing which always sought after by all the minds. Everywhere, always, young, old, happiness. Isn't it? Happiness. So happiness has another name. You know what is? All attractive. Happiness attracts all the minds towards itself. Happiness draws all the minds towards itself. Happiness is something which is sought after, which is searched by all the minds. For happiness is said to be all attractive, all drawing, all gravity. What is it which pulls everything towards itself? The gravity is happiness. And Lord, being the very reality, Lord is the truth, and Lord is of the nature of happiness. All attractive happiness. What is the nature of the Lord? The reality is of the nature of happiness. Oh, we thought happiness is a state of mind which comes sometimes. Please understand, happiness is not a state of mind. If you think happiness is a state of mind, that is your thinking. Okay, we should go. Happiness doesn't come, happiness doesn't go. Happiness is always there. Like what? When the sun is, the brilliance of sun, does it come and go? Sun and brilliance are inseparable. Can you separate the brilliance and the sun? Why sun is brilliant? Being brilliant. Brilliance is the nature of the sun. Being brilliant is the nature of the sun. That is how sun can be. Isn't it? Similarly, the Lord, the truth of the whole universe, and the happiness are not inseparable. Is it clear now? So being happy, happiness is the nature of the Lord, the reality. So here, happiness attracts all the minds towards itself. Therefore, Lord is called Sugandhi. No way. The Lord who is essentially of the nature of happiness, which attracts all the minds towards itself, like the sweet fragrance. Is it clear now? The Lord who is of the nature of fullness, which attracts all the minds towards itself, just as the sweet fragrance attracts the minds towards itself. Therefore, Lord is called Sugandhi. Don't think Lord is fragrant. Sugandhi means the Lord who is of the nature of fullness, who is of the nature of all attractive happiness, who is of the nature of limitlessness. Sugandhi means the Lord who is of the nature of all attractive happiness, like the sweet fragrance. Therefore, we worship the Lord who is of the nature of happiness, which attracts all the minds towards itself, like the sweet fragrance. Sugandhim yajamahe. Finished. Next word. Pushtivardhanaha. Pushtivardhanam yajamahe. Now we worship we worship Pushtivardhanaha. Pushtihi means health. Pushtihi means what? Health. Vardhanaha means grows, one who develops. Literally it means. So Pushtivardhanaha means one who contributes for the health. What does it mean? One who nourishes all the beings. One who enlivens all the beings. One who energizes, enlivens, nourishes all the beings. Who is the nourisher of all beings here? The enlivener, energizer, nourisher of all the beings. It is the truth which alone is in the form of the sun. Just as water alone is in the form of every wave, the truth of the whole is in the form of everything here. Therefore, the truth of the whole is in the form of the sun also. The truth, being the truth of the sun, being the truth of every plant, being the truth of everything here, every element here, the one who, Lord being the truth of everything, Lord is the absolute nourisher of all the beings. Ultimate, absolute nourisher of all the beings. The one who energizes all the beings. One who enlivens all the beings. Is it clear? Therefore, the food is the Lord. The plants are the Lord. Earth is the Lord. Water is the Lord. The rains are the Lord. Clouds are the Lord. Sun is the Lord. Everything is the Lord for us. Everything is the truth, essentially. Therefore, the Lord, one who nourishes all the beings, thereby enlivens all the beings, is Pushtivardhanaha. So we worship the Lord, the enlivener, nourisher of all the beings. Is it clear now? 3 names are over. Each and every word tells you how the Lord is. We don't talk like any form here. Did you say any form? How the Lord is. Lord is Trambakaha Sugandhihi Pushtivardhanaha. And now we say we worship means yajamahe. Whom do we worship? Triambakam yajamahe, sugandhim yajamahe, pushtivardhanam yajamahe. All three words are descriptions, adjectives for the word Lord, or names of the Lord itself. Om Triambakai yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Om Triambakai yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. If you know the meaning, really see how this is how the Lord is. Even if you have not understood, this is a fact. Each and every word reveals a fact about the Lord. There's no untruth in it. Lord is the only, being the only truth of everything. Lord is the only absolute nourisher of all the beings. Lord is of the nature of fullness, happiness. Therefore, Lord is the happiness which attracts all the minds towards itself, like the sweet fragrance. And Lord is in the form of the whole and being endowed with three sources of light. And Lord is the only knower of all three periods of time. If not in one word here, untruth here. Each and every word reveals a fact about the Lord. Satyam. It's a fact about the Lord. Om Triambakai yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Om Triambakai yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. 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 Next sentence. Urvarukamiva Varukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiya mamritaat. Now in the second sentence, are you all tired? Are you okay to listen? Continue? Okay. Next sentence, there's a request. The second sentence, there's a request. There's a verb, it's a prayer. Mukshiya. Say no? Mukshiya. Mukshiya is may you release. This is the prayer. Release. May you liberate. May you free. May you release. Whom do we address? O Lord, may you free. May you release. Whom should you free? Me. May you free me. May you liberate me. May you release me. Mukshiya. Ma mukshiya. Okay. Mukshiya, may you release. May you free me. From what? Bandhanat. Bandhanan mukshiya. When you break it, you get the word bandhanat. Bandhanam means binding, bondage. Bondage is called bandhanam. Bandhanat, from bondage. May you release me from bondage. And who is holding on to me tightly? You release me from the bondage of what? Release me from the hold of what? Something is holding on to me tightly. I am in the grip of something. Okay? Please free me from the grip of. Please release me from the hold of. Please release me from the Isn't it bondage of what? Mrityoho. Please release me from the bondage of the death. Mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya. Please release me, free me from the bondage, grip of death, hold of death. Please release me from the jaws of death. Please release me from bondage of death. Mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya. Got it? Now Sanskritam sounds like German, doesn't it? Very simple. Is it clear? Mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya. Free me from the jaws of death. Release me from the bondage of death. Free me from mortality. When we pray like this, what does it mean? Do you think Lord will come and make us all sit here forever, seeing our great grandchildren playing in the garden? No. The death of the physical body is inevitable. Body will definitely one day fall apart. It will get disintegrated. Again, it will go back to 5 elements. The minerals in the body will join the earth. Water in the body will join the water. Heat in the body will join the fire. The body will get disintegrated one day. It will fall apart. It will stop. It will become like the piece of wood, a log of wood. The minute the prana leaves the physical body, it is like a log of wood. That is why we don't hesitate pushing it into the crematorium. Isn't it? How is it possible for us to push the body into the crematorium? Because lifeless. Isn't it? Body is lifeless. Which means body will fall apart. Then what, when we say, "Oh Lord, please release me from bondage of death," means what? Please understand. There is a notion, I am a mortal. There is a strong, wrong notion about ourselves that I am going to die, I am a mortal. There is a strong notion that I am going to die. Therefore, there is a fear of death. There is fear of death. Why there is fear of death? Because of the thinking that I am going to die, I will die, I am a mortal, there is fear of death. Suppose if you know that you are not going to die and you will be free from fear of death. Is it clear now? Now actually when you pray to the Lord, "Oh Lord, please free me from the jaws of death," means, please free me from fear, death, hold of death. Bondage of death means, "Oh Lord, please free me from the fear of death." Prayer for immortality is actually prayer for freedom from fear of death. Prayer for freedom from fear of death is prayer for freedom from bondage of death. Prayer for immortality is prayer for freedom from fear of death. What you are asking is, we are praying is, we want freedom from the phenomenon called fear. Please understand, what is fear? Fear is a natural, subtle phenomenon imperceptible through our eyes, but it is in the form of a thought. Fear is a subtle phenomenon. And where the mind is, every mind, there is fear. There's no mind which is free from the fear, the phenomenon called fear. The degree of fear may vary from person to person, but all of us have fear. Therefore, that is why there's a sense of insecurity also on the part of every human being. There's no human being who is free from sense of insecurity. The insecurity, anxiety are all expressions of the phenomenon called fear. The fear dormant, latent in our subconscious mind. There's always fear. But whenever it doesn't surface, we think we are not frightened. We think we are fearless. There is fear, dormant, latent, subconscious. Some situation comes, it surfaces. Then you see you're scared. Then you feel insecure. Then you feel anxious. These are different symptoms of fear. Understand? Therefore, this fear itself, what is the cause of this fear? How does this fear exist? Veda Shastram has thoroughly analyzed. If the fear is caused by death, fear is caused by the notion that I am subject to death. I am a mortal. I will die. I shall die. I am going to die. I will die. Is a notion we all have. All the human beings have this. It is the notion of this mortality centered on I which causes the fear. Suppose if you are free from the fear of death, I tell you, you are free from the hold of the phenomenon called fear for good. It is the fear of death which is in the form of fear caused by so many things. The child is frightened of a lizard or a cockroach. But if you feel insecure about something, any form of fear. There's so many things which can trigger fear in us. That is why we think there's so many. Fear is only one phenomenon. But there are many factors externally which can trigger the fear in us, which can make us feel very anxious and insecure. Therefore, we say there are many, all forms of fear. Fear is one phenomenon. The different forms of fear. Understand now? But different situations, different factors externally can trigger the fear. So you may be scared of something, I may be scared of something. Different situations, different things, different objects, different factors, in different times would have triggered the fear. But still fear is the same phenomenon. Therefore, what Shastram says, the fear is actually fear of death is the fear, root cause of any form of fear. If you are free from the fear of death, then you are free from the hold of the phenomenon called fear for good. Then nothing else in the world can trigger any fear. Then there will be utter fearlessness. Utter fearlessness is possible only when you are free from the hold of the phenomenon called fear for good, and you can be free from the hold of the phenomenon called fear for good only when you are free from the fear of death. And you can be free from the fear of death only when you understand the fact that you are absolutely timeless, immortal, non-arriving, non-departing, everlasting truth. You cannot become immortal. You cannot become deathless. You are already the truth. You are already the reality. You are already the truth implied by the term Atma or Brahma, which is everlasting, timeless reality, which is free from time, which is not subject to time, which is not subject to death, which has no beginning, which has no end, which is not subject to any change. The changeless, beginningless, endless, timeless, everlasting, immortal reality you are. Unfortunately, you do not know what you are. It is because you do not know what you are essentially, because you mistake your body for yourself, you mistake the death of the body. Even death is also a change only. Death is only unavoidable change happening on the part of the material body. Is it clear now? You mistake the death of the body as the death of yourself. Why do you mistake? Because you do not know what you are. So, the only way you can free yourself from the fear of death is by knowing the fact that you are already immortal, deathless, timeless truth. Therefore, when you pray, mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya, you're actually prayer for freedom from bondage of death is a prayer for freedom from fear of death. Prayer for freedom from fear of death is actually prayer for knowledge in the wake of which you will be free from fear of death. Is it clear now? See, one sentence, how many things are prayed for? Come to the third point, isn't it? Prayer for bondage, freedom from bondage of death is equal to prayer for freedom from fear of death. Prayer for freedom from fear of death is actually prayer for the knowledge of the self, in the wake of which there will be fear. Fear will resolve. Is it clear? Therefore, when you say mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya, what you are praying is, O Lord, please free me from fear of death. How can Lord free you from fear of death? O Lord, please bless me with the knowledge of my real nature. Thereby help me discover self being already immortal. Self being already deathless. Self being already timeless. Only by blessing you with the knowledge, Lord can free you from fear of death. So, knowledge alone can free you from fear of death. What can free you from fear of death? It is the knowledge of the truth, obtaining as one's own self, knowledge of one's own real nature, one's own self alone, free one from fear of death. Nothing can free you from fear of death. That is why knowledge is fearlessness. Fearlessness is strength. Ignorance is fear. Fear is weakness. And now, next, for how to have the knowledge? To have knowledge means to know what you are, to understand the fact that you are already immortal, you are already timeless. You need to know that you need the means of knowledge called Shastram, you need to study. Therefore, O Lord, please bless me with knowledge of the truth, knowledge of myself, reveal my O Lord, reveal thy nature, obtaining as my own nature. Thereby free me from fear of death, thereby free me from the hold of the death, free me from the bondage of death. Please reveal the nature, thy nature, obtaining as my own nature. Thereby free me from fear of death, free me from bondage of death. Please bless me with the knowledge. So please bless me with the study, the capacity to study this teaching. Please bless me with the opportunity to be exposed to the study of the teacher, study of the teaching, Shastram, the scripture. And please enable me, have the wisdom. Is it clear? Not only that, please bless me with all the qualification I need for the wisdom, the self-knowledge, in the wake of which I can resolve the fear of death for good. That's a prayer. Please bless me with the preparation, the mental preparation. Please bless me with all the mental refinement, subtleness of mind. Please bless me with the capacity to understand, retain, and assimilate the teaching. Thereby, help me have the clear, doubt-free vision of the truth obtaining as myself. Thereby, free me from the fear of death. Free me from the bondage of death. So much, one small prayer, so many things are prayed for. And one more thing. Dependence is bondage. Independence is freedom, isn't it? Dependence is bondage. Independence is freedom. In the wake of the knowledge of the nature of reality, the Lord obtaining as one's own nature, in the wake of knowledge of one's own self being already timeless reality, immortal reality, the fear of death resolves. One becomes free from the fear of death, one becomes free from the jaws of death, bondage of death. So in the wake of the knowledge of the reality, one discovers fullness, happiness as one's own real nature. One takes ownership of happiness as one's own real nature. So in knowledge of the self, not only there is fearlessness, the knowledge of the nature of the self being timelessness, there is fearlessness, there is happiness. So fearlessness is in happiness, happiness is in fearlessness. Is it clear now? Happiness means there is fullness. When you discover happiness as your real nature, then will you be, as happiness, will you be dependent on the world, people, relationships for your happiness? As long as you do not know what happiness is, you will be dependent on the world for your happiness. When you are dependent on the world, people, relationships, positions, possessions, for happiness, there is bondage. When you become independent of the world, when can you become independent of the world, people, relationships for your happiness? When you discover happiness in fearlessness as your own real nature. You take ownership of happiness as your real nature. you will be independent of the world for your happiness. Isn't it? Is it clear now? So, when you are dependent on the world for happiness and security, when you depend on the world, people, relationships, associations, acquaintances, positions and possessions for your happiness and security, you are attached to the world. Dependence is emotional dependency is attachment. Is it clear? And independence is detachment. What is attachment? Emotionally being dependent on anything and everything for happiness and security is attachment. Being independent, independence is detachment. Dependence is attachment. Is it clear now? Independence is detachment. So when will you be detached? When will you be attached? In ignorance, helplessly, you will be detached. You will be attached. In ignorance, helplessly, you will be attached. Not that you want to be attached, you will be helplessly attached to the world in ignorance. Which means you will be dependent on the world, associations and friendships and everything for your happiness and security. In knowledge, you will have the world, you will have friends, you will have people, you will have association, you will have relationship, everything will possessions and possessions. You will have everything, but still you will be independent of the world for your happiness and security. In knowledge, your same world, same people, everything is the same. Emotionally, you are dependent in ignorance, helplessly dependent. In knowledge, you are effortlessly independent. In ignorance, you are helplessly dependent. In knowledge, you are effortlessly independent. So, being dependent is attachment, being independent is detachment. In knowledge, you are mature. In ignorance, you are immature. Is it clear? Therefore, O Lord, when you say Mrityoho bandhanat mukshiya, when you say, O Lord, please free me from the bondage of death, is a prayer which means, O Lord, please free me from the fear of death. Please free me from the hold of the phenomenon called fear for good. Which means, O Lord, please bless me with the knowledge of Thy Swarupam, Thy nature, obtaining as my own real nature. That will help me discover myself being already immortal and timeless. Please bless me with the vision of my real nature. Thereby free me from the fear of death. And please bless me with all that I need, all the preparations I need. Please help me live a life of dharma. Help me prepare my mind for knowledge. Please bless me with all mental refinement and subtleness, sharpness of intellect, stability, emotional stability, intellectual sharpness I need for, which is qualification for this knowledge. Now one more word is there, Urvarukam Eva. Urvarukam means melon. You know melon? Pond melon is Urvarukam. You know this melon is very, we all know melon, very watery, juicy fruit, very heavy. Very heavy. So it cannot hang like this because very heavy fruit. And the creeper is very thin creeper. So the creeper cannot hold this, the fruit. Always the melon creepers, they crawl on the floor. And this Urvarukam, if possible, I'll try to show you when I come to India, if available. It crawls in the, you can see on the floor only the plant will be there. The creepers, they never stand straight, okay, Urvarukam. The melon creeper never stands because the fruits are very heavy. They will be only under. And here, when the Urvarukam, this melon is very unripe, very small, tiny, tender, one, unripe. It is attached to the stalk. The fruit is attached to the stalk. It grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It becomes fully ripe. And the fruit remains same place. But it detaches itself from the stalk. The ripe fruit detaches itself from the stalk. The unripe melon will be attached to the stalk. So what the hint is given here, this Urvarukam, when it is unripe, it is attached to the stalk. It remains connected to the stalk. When the Urvarukam becomes ripe, it doesn't do anything. It detaches itself from the stalk. Like that, O Lord, when I am also immature, in ignorance, in immaturity, I do not know what I am, and I am immature, isn't it? There's error in my perception of myself and the world. And when there is error in the perception of myself and the world, I mistake the world to be a source of happiness and security. Then in ignorance, I become dependent on the world for my happiness and security. Okay? Then I'm attached to the world. In maturity, in knowledge, when I have the right perception of myself and the world, in the knowledge of the truth, my perspective of myself is different. My perspective of the world also is different. The right perspective of myself and the world in the wake of knowledge. I mature. I mature means I discover happiness as my own real nature. I discover fearlessness as my nature. I discover myself, immortality being my nature. In the wake of knowledge of my real nature, I am mature. In knowledge, I am mature. I am independent of the world for my happiness and security. Unless and until I discover happiness, fearlessness as my real nature, I am helplessly dependent on the world for my security and happiness. In discovering the fact, in discovering my real nature, I effortlessly become independent of the world for my happiness and security. So in knowledge, I am mature. In ignorance, I am immature. So being ignorant, being immature is not wrong. It is very natural. But we can't afford to be ignorant forever. We have to make efforts to become mature. So what can make you absolutely mature person? When you live a life of values, you are relatively mature. But in knowledge, you become absolutely mature. When you go against values, you are immature. In knowledge, you are relatively mature, relatively immature. In ignorance. In knowledge, you become absolutely mature. So here the prayer is Urvarukam Iva, means, O Lord, like the melon. Okay, make me mature. Just as the ripe melon detaches itself from the stalk, O Lord, make me mature. Help me discover dispassion towards everything. Help me discover freedom. Help me discover, help me become independent of the world for my happiness and security. Okay? Bless me with the wisdom, thereby make me, bless me with the wisdom, bless me with the knowledge of the truth, thereby help me, make me mature, thereby help me become independent. Bless me with independence. Bless me with the wisdom, which is self-knowledge. Thereby help me, thereby make me wise. Help me, bless me with the wisdom, the self-knowledge. Thereby help me, make me mature, thereby make me independent. Bless me with the wisdom, make me mature, thereby make me independent. In wisdom, I am mature. In maturity, I am independent. In ignorance, I am immature. In immaturity, I am dependent. Is it okay? You really pray for independence. You pray for freedom from emotional dependence. You pray for wisdom. You pray for absolute maturity. You pray for the wisdom, pray for the knowledge. You pray for fearlessness. You pray for taking help to take ownership of the happiness which is your own real nature. You're not praying for longevity of life, okay? You're praying for permanent solution, not temporary solution, temporary remedy. You're praying for wisdom. You're praying for absolute maturity. You're praying for the right perspective of yourself and the world. You're praying for reveling in the vision of fullness. You're praying for having the everlasting luxury of reveling in the vision of fullness. There's no greater luxury than reveling in the vision of fullness. It's clear? Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Urvarukamiva bandhanan urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Om Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamrutat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Therefore, for fearlessness, for happiness, for fullness, for maturity, what you need is wisdom. What makes you wise is the knowledge of the reality, knowledge of the truth. Knowledge of the truth is otherwise called knowledge of your own self, self-knowledge. The truth has to be recognized as your own self, your own true nature. And it is the knowledge of the truth which is otherwise called knowledge of the Lord, understanding the Lord. Understanding what the Lord is not different from knowing what the truth is, what yourself is. Same. Therefore, if we practice meditation, we should know what is the role of meditation in self-knowledge. What is the meditation for must be very clear. What is the meditation for? The meditation, we can practice meditation before the attainment of knowledge. We can practice meditation after the attainment of knowledge. After knowing the truth, we are supposed to meditate. We can meditate. Before knowing the truth also we meditate. Before knowing the truth, when you meditate, what is meditation? Focusing your attention on a given object of meditation. Object. For length of time is meditation. Before knowing what the truth is, you cannot meditate upon the truth, isn't it? Can you meditate upon the truth before knowing the truth? Can you meditate upon the Lord before knowing what the Lord is? You can never meditate upon something which you do not know. Is it true or not? If I tell you, come on, all of you sit straight, close your eyes, meditate upon kain chai poin chai. You will all wonder, what, Swamini is mad or what? We thought she makes some sense. We came here all the way and she's blabbering something. I tell you, you can never meditate upon something which you do not know. Okay? So, the meditation may be very clear. What is meditation for must be very, very clear. In Vedanta, there is meditation. Before knowing that meditation is a mental activity. No activity. Now just now I showed you in the class how action is caused by the desire. Desire is caused by the need. Need is caused by the fundamental problem of sense of smallness, sense of inadequacy centered on I. And the problem is caused by wrong notion you have about yourself. Wrong notion is caused by erroneous self-perception, isn't it? The wrong erroneous self-perception is because of ignorance of the self. Therefore, action is what? Action is product of ignorance. Therefore, action being the product of ignorance, how can action help you resolve the ignorance? No action can ever help you resolve the ignorance. No action can help you resolve the ignorance. I'm not saying action is useless. Actions are very important. Activities are very, very important. Physical activity is important. Mental activity is important. Oral activity, all the activities, actions, performance of duties, performance of actions is very, very important. But action cannot help you resolve the ignorance. Is it clear? So meditation cannot help you attain the knowledge. And meditation is a mental activity. Meditation being a mental activity, meditation also cannot help you resolve the ignorance. Therefore, meditation is not a means of attainment of happiness or peace. Is it clear? Then what is meditation for? Meditation before the attainment of knowledge of the truth is called meditation. It is a preparatory discipline for knowledge. It will help. Meditation practice before the attainment of knowledge is to prepare the mind for knowledge. Then what should you do for knowledge then? For knowledge, the 3 steps. You have to listen to the unfoldment of the teaching. This unfoldment of the scriptures, which is unfoldment of the teaching. Unfoldment of the scriptures. For knowledge, you have to listen to the subject matter of the scripture, the teaching. Then what you have, you have the knowledge. But after knowledge, still you may have doubts. So repeatedly listening to what you have already understood, by reflecting upon what you have understood, you can resolve your doubts. That's called mananam. So Shravanam, listening. Mananam is reflecting upon what you have already heard, understood, and resolving the doubts is called mananam. Once you have resolved the doubts, you are very clear, then repeatedly dwelling upon what you have clearly understood is called a nididhyasanam. So with that meditation, meditating upon what you have clearly understood by listening and reflecting. Is it clear? That meditation is called contemplation. So meditation after the attainment of knowledge of the truth, meditation upon the truth, meditating upon the fact you have clearly understood is called contemplation, and which is for the assimilation of the teaching. Listening helps you understand the teaching. Reflecting upon the teaching will help you resolve the doubts in the teaching. And repeatedly meditating upon the clear understanding will help you assimilate the teaching. So meditating upon what you have clearly understood, upon the fact you have clearly understood is contemplation, which is for assimilation of the fact, which is freedom, which is knowledge, which is wisdom, which is fearlessness, which is happiness, which is freedom. Okay? And before the attainment of knowledge, when you practice the meditation as a preparatory discipline, as a discipline for preparing the mind for knowledge, then you are meditating upon an object, any given object. You are the meditator, and the object of meditation is different from you. The you are focusing on is different from you. The meditated difference is there in meditation before the attainment of knowledge. After the attainment of knowledge, you are meditating upon the truth obtaining as your own self. Then the meditation is contemplation, wherein you are the meditator and you are meditating upon the truth which is your own real nature. Therefore, in contemplation, meditator the object of meditation happens to be one's own real nature is non-different from the meditator. Meditator, meditated, difference is not there in contemplation. Okay? Which is the meditation practiced after the attainment of knowledge. And this meditation is for assimilation. And before the attainment of knowledge, if you practice any meditation, any discipline, okay, just to focus, learn to be focused. It's okay. That is only to make the restless, agitated mind calm. Relatively steady, make the unsteady mind, restless mind steady. You practice some meditation. There, you do not know what yourself is. You don't know what the truth is. So we are focusing on something which is other than yourself. Therefore, the object of meditation is different from the one who is meditating on, the meditator. Meditator, meditated, difference is there in meditation practiced before the knowledge. After the attainment of knowledge, when you meditate, the object of meditation is the truth which is your own Swarupam. There is no difference between meditator and the meditated. So before the knowledge, when you practice meditation, it is a preparatory discipline. It will help you prepare your mind for knowledge. It will make the unsteady, restless mind steady and calm. That's all. Which is disturbable steadiness. Whereas after the knowledge, when you practice, when you meditate, meditation is contemplation, which is for the assimilation, ascertainment of the fact which you have already understood clearly through listening and reflecting. Shravanam and Mananam. Is it clear? And it is very natural for the mind to be restless, agitated, not to be able to focus on. That is why in Vedanta classes, in fact, if you know the value of the study of the Shastram, and if you are studying with the Shraddha, if your interest, you'll be very focused in the class. Try to listen, even if it is boring. Sometimes it may be disturbing, but still because you know the value of the knowledge. You know the value of the benefit what you're going to gain as a result of the knowledge. You know the value of the knowledge. Therefore, you know the value of the study of the scripture. Sometimes may be difficult, sometimes may be boring, sometimes may be whatever it is, don't give up. You have Shraddha, you try to listen, and learning to listen to the teaching itself is a discipline. When you are sitting in the class, you are able to listen, even if the disturbances, you are listening, you are making efforts to keep your mind in the class. This itself is meditation. Is it clear? And nobody needs to tell you. Your mind will sit. If you have interest, the mind will sit. Things cannot disturb. And yes, of course, mind will be still restless. I'm not saying mind is very good, okay? Mind will be restless. And mind is of the nature of restlessness. You can't expect a monkey to sit quietly. So mind will be going here and there. Don't worry. But now if you know the value of what you're doing, and if you focus, definitely you will learn to be here. Okay? Meditation will be possible. Gradually you will become more and more focused. Don't need to worry about it. So what is important is first understanding the teaching is important, then even meditation. Well, understanding the teaching, you started studying the scriptures means systematically, properly, once a week, twice a week, you started means, and what you need now is better start doing some japa. Every day make it a have this discipline of doing some japa in the morning and the evening. I have no time at all to do this. Then that is a problem. Okay. If you have time, do morning and in the evening both times japa. Come back and work, wash your face and sit quietly, light a lamp. Otherwise, simply sit. See if beautiful flowers are there. Some nice colors, how beautiful. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and don't need anything. Just do japa. You can do mentally, or if you don't Sometimes you are very restless, do orally. Do some simple, nice one mantra japa. Very easy japa I want. Rama, 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 Ram. Rama, 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 Ram. Rama, 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 Ram. Rama, 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 Rama. You all like something else? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Something else you want? Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Different you want? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay? Or call Hari. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Any one name or one mantra, repeat. Start with the japa. Settle down first, then move on to meditation. Japa itself, Manasa Japa, is as good as meditation. So what we need is understanding. All confusions have to go here. We don't need to blame the world. We don't need to feel hurt. We don't need to feel guilty also. Oh, I didn't do. No guilt is required here. You are just here. Okay, fine. Start from this day. Start from here. Let me try to understand what this Vedanta teaches. Let me make efforts to understand. Let me see whether it helps me, whether it's useful for me. If suppose it doesn't help you at all, it is so useless, then call me. Okay? You can call me, scold me. Okay? So we'll conclude. What's time now?
5:15. 5:30.
Not bad. I could finish everything within 2 hours, isn't it? Not bad. I was thinking, I was a little delaying, but it's okay, not bad. I took a little longer time to elaborate on this mantra. A little longer time. It's because I see you, only today. See, even she went off. And when you come and sit for 2 hours, when you come even to learn one thing, you should learn correctly and go. Even this mantra, I can still elaborate on this mantra. I can throw more light, same mantra. I've given enough, but I can throw more light on the same mantra, same second line. Is it clear now? Whole mantra is clear now. Any doubts? Any questions? Any questions? No questions?
I have one question actually about this mantra because I've been recommended this mantra previously And I've been told that it's also something you see to a person who is suffering. Like it can be for other people. It doesn't have to be for you. It can be for your family, your friends, and
The same mantra?
yeah, that's what I've been.
Yeah, see, when people tell you all these details, it's a lot of teaching, isn't it? It's not easy. A lot of things, isn't it? So much is there in this mantra. That's why I told you it's not for longevity. See, when you pray for wisdom, that's the best prayer. In this mantra, actually, you're praying for Lord's grace to be blessed with maturity. And what will make a person really mature, It is the wisdom. It is the knowledge which makes you really mature. Immaturity, in ignorance, in lack of understanding, we're immature. So that's why I said being immature is not wrong. We have to grow. So in knowledge we become mature. So we want maturity. In maturity you are independent. Independent means you're free. Independence is freedom. Dependence is bondage. In maturity you are independent. In immaturity you are dependent. So in knowledge you are independent. In ignorance you are dependent. So that is why you absolutely pray for wisdom. You pray for the self-knowledge. You pray for the absolute wisdom, which is the self-knowledge, in which all your problems will resolve for good. In the fear of death resolves, the phenomenon called fear resolves for good. I tell you, all your problems will resolve for good. Completely different perspective you have of the world and of yourself. Then in your vision you can see how everything is the Lord. How not to be afflicted emotionally, shattered by what is happening outside. Still you will do the needful objectively. Even after wisdom, you will do the needful objectively, independently. Understand? You will be in the society, amidst people, with the people, but emotionally you will be independent. You will be free. Maturity is the absolute relaxation is in wisdom. Nothing can stir and disturb your peace. That is when only in maturity you have that non-disturbable peace you have. That is called absolute peace. Peace means not going sitting in a quiet jungle, no noise is there. It can be a noiseless, quiet place. I want to go to a quiet place. Swamiji, I can't live in this here. I said, go. The quiet place and you will be making noise. You go and disturb the quiet place. If you go disturbed, everywhere you will be disturbance. If you are at peace, even the noisiest place you can be peaceful. It is not the place, it is not the people what makes you restless. It is all your mind. It's all your lack of how you perceive things, how you see things, how you understand things. What you need is wisdom here. What you need is understanding here. What you need is clear vision. Therefore, I tell you, the most exalted prayer is the prayer for wisdom. Because once you have wisdom, everything else becomes prayed for. Everything else becomes accomplished. Then you don't need to pray for anything else after wisdom. If you pray for anything else, you have to pray for something else again. Prayer will be endless, continuous process if you pray for anything else. If you pray for wisdom, it's a prayer which puts an end to the very act of praying. That is why it's the most exalted prayer. The most exalted, the best of the prayers is the prayer in which you pray for wisdom, after accomplishing which the very act of praying comes to an end. Is it clear? That is why when people cry, suffer, You don't know what suffering in pain, physical pain. Of course, physical pain is when we are very empathetic. We are sympathy. We have sympathy. We have empathy. We have kindness. We have mercy. We feel others' pain really disturbs us. If you feel somebody is suffering in pain, you do feel disturbed. You do reach out, try to do something to help a person, if possible. What can we do? Sometimes we are helpless, aren't we? We feel our helplessness. So, always somebody is sick also, we say, okay, chant this mantra. We chant this, it will do good for you, do good for them also. That's what they say. Nothing wrong. You can pray for yourself, pray for others also. But when you chant the prayer, actually, ultimately, you pray for your own well-being. Whenever you chant the prayer for others or for your sake, ultimately you pray for your absolute wellness, your well-being, emotional wellness. Emotionally well, your physical ailments can be managed. Is it clear? It won't won't make a person who is very sick suddenly get up and walk and all that. Sometimes, with the person by his prarabdha, he may walk also. That's a different thing. Coincidence may happen. But actually, this is a mantra you can pray always, anytime, whenever, because you're praying for knowledge. Because only in knowledge you can become free from fear of death. When you become free from fear of death, you will be free from the hold of the very phenomenon called fear will disappear from your mind. That is when there's fearlessness. And what is there's no insecurity anymore. There's no anxiety anymore. Is it clear? Okay. That's all. So we conclude the session. And let me try to ring and see whether we can try to go to the temple, because they have to leave. We can go to temple and come back, and then they have enough time to go to the train station. Okay?
Prasad here?
Yeah, he had bought some prasad.
Who?
Here is prasad in the kitchen.
Okay, what we'll do, we can do some arati for Dakshinamurti. No?
Ja. Dakshinamurti Arti.
Ich weiß nicht, was das ist.
One more beautiful mantra I could have taught you, but no time. No, one more. So many mantras are there. We'll meet again, okay? Are you all happy today, having come? Om Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Today is Sunday, and we'll invoke the Lord as the one who revels in oneself, Rama, who hails from the Surya Vamsha. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Upati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Keshava Madhava Raja Ram. Keshava Madhava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Patita Pavana Sita Ram. రామ రామ జయ రాజా రామ, రామ రామ జయ సీతారాం. రామ రామ జయ రాజా రామ, రామ రామ జయ సీతారాం. రామ 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 రామ, రామ రామ రామ, రామ 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 రామ, రామ 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 రామ, రామ రామ రామ, రామ 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 రామ, రామ రామ రామ, రామ 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 రామ, రామ సీతారాం. రామ 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 రామ, రామ సీతారాం. రామ 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 రామ, రామ రామ రామ, 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 రామ 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 రామ, రామ సీతారాం. 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 జై జై రామ్ సీతారాం, జై జై రామ్ సీతారాం. జై జై రామ్ సీతారాం, జై జై రామ్ సీతారాం. రామ్ సీతారాం, జై జై 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 రామ్ సీతారాం. రామ్ రామ్ రామ 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 రామ. జానకీకాంతస్మరణం. జై జై రామ రామ. జానకీకాంతస్మరణం. జై జై రామ రామ. నమః పార్వతీపతయే. హర హర మహాదేవ. ఓం పూర్ణమదః పూర్ణమిదం పూర్ణాత్ పూర్ణముదచ్యతే పూర్ణస్య పూర్ణమాదాయ పూర్ణమేవావశిష్యతే. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. హరి ఓం తత్సత్. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం.